Okay, so here we go. This is statics, one of my favorite classes. And today, it's only a 50-minute class, so just today I'm going to talk about the class, go through the syllabus, that kind of stuff, show you where to find videos and where to find notes and stuff like that. We won't get into material until Wednesday. First, before I start with the class, let me tell you something that I'm really excited about and I'm really trying to drum up interest in. This is a student club that I was ready to start, and then COVID hit, and then 2-year delay and whatever, but now it's finally starting, the Normandale Design Club. So let me show you this flyer I made. You'll probably see these around campus. Okay, so can you see that all right? So basically, Normandale has a really nice fab lab, a really nice manufacturing lab, and I think we've sort of floundered around looking for the best way to take advantage of it. I think this is going to go a long way towards that. And the idea is just sort of think of all the ideas you've had, like, oh man, this drawer sticks. Like, what if there was a little plastic lever that went here and held the blah, blah, whatever. All the million things that you've said, like, oh, someone should make that. Well, we have the equipment to make stuff like that. And so this club is going to meet once a week, and then, of course, email and whatever. And people are going to talk about their ideas. We'll sort of brainstorm ideas as a group. We'll go to the fab lab. I'll show people how to use the equipment you need to make the thing you're making. You'll make a prototype, bring it back, brainstorm it again, how to make it better. And in the end, when we're happy with, your product, everybody's products, one by one, we'll put them up for sale on a website that will, whatever money we make, we'll just go back to the fab lab. But, you'll see what it's like to go through the whole process of an idea to making prototypes to doing it to packaging to shipping and everything. And I think it's going to be a really cool experience. And I think for people who are interested in doing that commercially for themselves, I think we've all probably had thoughts like that. I think you'd learn a lot that would help you a lot with that. And if you have a really good idea and when you're done, you want to take your idea with you, it's yours, so no one will make money off of this club, but you're welcome to take your ideas with you. I just think everybody in it is going to really like it and learn a lot. So think about it, anyways, is what I'm trying to get at. Email me if you're interested. These are, and yeah, that's just pictures of a few things that I've made. We have, email me and I'd be happy to tell you as much as you want to know about all this stuff. Okay. So let's talk about the class. The most important thing that you need to know for this class is you need to know how to get around on D2L. Everything's going to be posted on D2L. So to get into D2L, go to the main Normandale page. I assume everyone here has done this before, but maybe there's some people new to the school. Sign on. Statics. And content. Everything is under content. And by the way, before you get, when you get to the main class page, there'll be announcements. So every time I put something new on D2L or assign something or whatever, I'll put something about it on the announcement. So check that first. Okay, so course information, syllabus. I'll go to that in a second. One thing that I want you to see that I'll mention as I go through the syllabus is I just got off of sabbatical, and a big part of my sabbatical was doing a first draft of a statics textbook. I teach statics. Statics is pretty much in the ballpark of what my PhD stuff was in, and I teach it in sort of an unusual way that I think is really to me, everyone would say this about the way they teach, but to me, it's a better way to do it. But it means that I can't really use textbooks, but here is a textbook. All the individual topics. You can get by in this class fine without ever looking at any of these, but you can get by with just my lectures. I'll tell you everything you need to know, but there's a little more detail in there with some example problems and stuff. So if you ever want more information, it's there. And yeah, so under statics text. Okay, the syllabus. Okay, so I'm Guy O'Lakin. I have a PhD in what most universities call engineering mechanics. And at the University of Minnesota, where I was, it's a very mathematical department, more than a kind of applied manufacturing type engineering department. And so, my background is kind of like the engineering math of solid mechanics and dynamics. And this is right in the area that I know best. My office is 2302 in science. So like right above the physics labs, right up that stairway from the physics labs. My office hours, so since we're still sort of in this thing where there's a lot of online classes and a lot of people are off campus a lot and stuff, I'm doing 3 in-person office hours, although I'd be happy to do more if you want to meet outside these times. And then I'm just planning to do Zoom meetings as needed. So if you want to talk to me about something, please just send me an email, and I'll send you, we'll choose a time and I'll send you a Zoom link and we'll talk as much as we need to. Okay, that's my plan. But the in-person office hours I'm doing in the tutoring center. If you know where that is, it's kind of in the main part of the building, right up that main stairway on the 2nd floor. There's the room number. I'm doing Mondays 1:30 to 3 and Fridays 10 to 11:30. But please, if you have trouble making any office hours, just get in touch with me. I'm going to be as flexible as I can. Prerequisites. You need to have taken Physics 1. You need to, really, the honest prerequisites are, I would say, Physics 1 and Calc 1. Anything else you could get by, so don't worry about that if you're not taking differential equations or you're concurrently taking Calc 2 or anything, it'll be fine. Materials needed. The only thing that you need is a graphing calculator. If you're in the market for a new graphing calculator, I'd recommend getting one with eigenvalues and eigenvectors, but you won't need that for this class. That's just a recommendation for the future if you're buying one. If you don't have a Texas Instruments type graphing calculator, we actually have a bunch that we can loan out, so come talk to me. we just used a bunch of our budget to buy a set of these in the spring, so they're brand new. Textbooks. So there's no required textbook for this class. If you're looking for a textbook later on for reference to go back to or whatever, these are two good choices. Sham's outlines are amazing. They're cheap, like $20 or something like that. And actually, honestly, you can find PDFs of a lot of them online for free, but they only cost $20. And I'd hate for them to go out of business. So I'm not trying to get you to steal from Sham's outlines people. They're so good, like just tons of problems with solutions, really nice, concise descriptions of all the topics. And they have them for basically every science and engineering class you're going to take. I would recommend from now on, get the Sham's outline every time you take a class, and you'll just have a shelf of this many Sham's outlines, and it's the best investment you can make, I think. So topics to be covered. The heart of what statics is about is when you have big collections of objects that are connected to each other by joints, and you're applying forces onto this collection of objects over here. What are the forces between the two objects over here? And what are the forces that one of these objects is feeling inside itself? Basically, how likely is this thing to break because of the forces you apply over here? That's the basic idea of statics, and it's really important in civil engineering. It's used a lot in biomechanics, and it's used a lot in engines and machines. And it's a little bit of an unusual engineering class in that there's really no new science that you learn. It's all just Newton's second law for the most part, but you'll learn some tools, very specific approaches to very specific cases that just basically you're just filling up your tool belt with all this stuff where you can walk around and say, like, okay, what kind of forces is this on this bridge? What kind of forces is this cable under? How thick would it have to be for me not to worry about it breaking? That sort of thing. It's a very practical class. The grading scale, I use 92, 82, 70, 60. That I know that seems higher than you're used to, but it's definitely not anything to be concerned about. I would say my grading tends to be easier than most people's grading. The higher cutoffs really is just a reflection of the kind of exams I give, the kind of questions I ask. I basically want to show you what you need to know and make sure that you have paid attention to what I said and are very thoroughly understand everything I said. And so your scores will tend to be high enough to make up for the slightly higher scoring grading system. The breakdown of how I calculate the grade, we'll have lecture quizzes, daily assignments, weekly assignments, and exams. So let me just describe what each of these things is. So lecture quizzes, it says most Mondays, I don't know, maybe every 2 weeks or something, every 2 or 3 weeks. We'll end the Monday class with a 10 or 15 minute quiz where I'm just going to ask you questions about things that I said. It's not going to be calculations. It's just going to be like, write out Newton's second law for statics, or, and all it's checking is to make sure that you're watching the lectures, taking notes on the lectures, and then occasionally rereading the notes of the lectures. I'm boiling this class down to a pretty small amount of material. Like if you think of like a typical engineering textbook, it's this thick, and that's a lot of material to try to absorb. And so you can, there are different approaches, and you can expect people to remember a little bit about all of this, or you can take out this much of it and expect them to go over it a couple times for everything and know everything well. And that's the approach that I'm taking. I really don't expect you to know, I absolutely don't expect you to know anything that I don't say in the lecture, but that gives you time to go back over it, make sure you understand it, make sure you remember it. And that's what the lecture quizzes are getting at. Please, if you have any questions as I say anything, feel free to ask. And so there'll be, 10 or something lecture quizzes over the semester. I dropped the lowest 2. Let's say there's 12 lecture quizzes. I dropped the lowest 2. So 10% of your grade is based on 10 lecture quizzes. So each one is 1%. It's a pretty low stakes thing, but it's just making sure that you're going back over your notes. Then daily assignments. I'm going to have you turn daily. So these are just after every class, not today because we're not going to get to material, but generally after every class, I'm going to tell you some problems to work on. I give you full solutions to all of these problems. So the idea is that you try to do it without looking at the solutions. If you get stuck, look at the solutions to get unstuck and then try to do it without looking at them again. But the solutions are there. There's nothing keeping you from just copying them down and turning them in. That just wouldn't do you any good as far as like understanding the material, But I just want to see that you're going through this much work every day, because the main way you learn this stuff is just time spent thinking about it, and that's the way you think about it. I'm going to have you submit those scans or photo files through D2L. It just makes the bookkeeping easier for everybody. And again, that's 10%. So, each daily assignment is a pretty insignificant chunk of your grade, but it just adds up to basically one letter grade, Then the weekly assignments. Now we're getting into the two things that are a little more like traditional things you get graded on. The weekly assignments, maybe every 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. I'll give you a set of problems that I won't give you the solutions for, and you need to do them and turn them in. Again, turn them in on D2L. These all together are worth 30% of your grade, so this is a little more important. You can work with other people on them. That's fine with me. But I don't want you to copy other people's work, so feel free to work together, but you need to write up your own solutions on your own, okay? That's how I know that you understand what you're writing down. And basically, man, I don't know if you guys know the website Chegg. I'm sure you've heard of it at least. That thing is a disaster. It's trying to get you into big trouble. I would avoid it. You don't have to avoid it. There are ways to use it that's not cheating, but God, I've had so many people turn in stuff that's just copied, just line for line from Chegg, and I've given out a painful number of F's in classes for doing that. Yep.
I've seen like written assignments put up there. I obviously have used them. I actually
Yeah.
multiple ones wrong because of my integrity.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, it's crazy that it's.
Like, check for like put in your Google the equation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I do. I mean, and
Surprised more people don't do it.
and usually you, especially in a class where you sort of use a different approach than is commonly used, it's really not hard to, you see people approach things in a way, and it's really not hard to find. And so let's just please not go down that road. I would much rather have you, if you need something clarified or whatever, just come talk to me about it, or your classmates talk to each other about it. But I would just try to pretend that website is not there. That would be my recommendation. Any questions about the weekly assignments? You can think of those as kind of like take-home tests, but you can feel free to bounce ideas off of each other. But your solutions need to be your own solutions at the end of it. Yeah.
How long will you have to do
I think I give a week is what I usually do, but really, I don't have any super firm deadlines. The deadlines I give are just really guidelines to try to keep you on track so you don't get behind. That's all, and but normally I'll give it on like a Friday and say it should be turned in by the next Friday, kind of thing. Any other questions? Okay, and then 50% of the grade will be in-class exams. There are going to be 4 of them. I think this is wrong, actually. Yeah, so there's 4 exams. Oh, no, this is right. So there's 4 exams, but the 4th one, if, say you have one score that wasn't so good, like your exam 3 score wasn't very good, your exam 4 score, if it's higher, can replace your exam 3 score. So it gives you sort of a mulligan. It also, if you miss an exam, that's an easy way to make up the exam you missed. Every exam is cumulative, so you need to go back and make sure you know how to do all the problems from like the beginning, and that's true of these weekly assignments too. So I'm going to be trying to make sure that you're keeping going back, like refreshing your memory on the earlier stuff. In statics, that's not too big a deal because everything builds on itself so much that you're kind of reinforcing the old stuff with all the new stuff. But and I have the exam schedule here. So these are the days we're going to do it. If you talk to me beforehand that you can't make it to one, we can work something out. Okay. And then this is basically what I was saying about Chegg, I guess. Just don't copy each other, don't copy from websites or whatever, and there'll be no problem. This is the number where you can find out if class is canceled. Really, just look on D2L. I mean, that's where I'll post everything, any new information or whatever. Any questions about any of that? Okay, well, I guess I could have started some statics today, but I don't have anything ready, so we'll do that on Wednesday, I guess. So we'll ease into it. I'm exhausted. This is my first time in front of a class in 2.5 years. Yeah.
Are we gonna have any assignments to do today?
Not for today, no. So Wednesday we'll get started for real. Okay?
You can show up on time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Let that be a lesson to all of you. Oh, yeah. You want to hear something funny? This is how long it's been for me. Like, I saw this room number and I'm like, walked over to the student center and I'm like, wait, these all start with a K. And then I'm like, where is A? Like, I had to look at a map to remember. I've been here for 15 years.
changed everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks different.
Yeah.
I took my first class here in the 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, good to see you all. See you on Wednesday.